Ever have enough time to play it all? You know everybody wants to walk in someone else's shoes. Everyone's forgot who they are.
Welcome back to Otter Creek in Rio Grande, and laid out before me is the fruits of my model railroading efforts over the last, I don't know, 2-3 weekends. I'm not sure how long it's been since I started working on modules 3 and 4, but everything is complete. There might be a few little things that still need work, you know, on the plywood itself, but I don't think so. I think everything's good to go. The only thing I haven't done is powered it up yet, which I may or may not do in this video. We'll just see how things go. Let's take a look at my control panels here. This larger control panel here is kind of the main hub. That's where the circuit breakers are going to be. I've got them marked. I've got one for Maroon Creek, and then for the high line that's going to run back into the back corner, I've got this one. And truth be known, I would rather have had this closer to the town that is going to be in the corner. And I still, you know, the only other thing I could do, because I've got like another 20 feet of bus line going that way, and then probably 30 or 40 feet going the opposite direction. You know, if I were to take all of it to the town and then go back, there would be, you know, way lots more doubled up wire. But what I might do is, once I get the town built, I might put in another circuit breaker at the town, and then let this one just handle the bus line up to the town. You know, the line that goes back to Frying Pan and the one that goes to the town of Hellgate. I don't foresee ever having any shorts on the single trackage up there. So it kind of seems silly to me to have a circuit breaker for something that doesn't even have a turnout on it. Although there will probably be one turnout. But that's something that I can do at a later date. So for right now, I'm going to let this ride just like it is. Another thing is this power point for the LCC. I may not need this. I went ahead and planned for it to put it in there just in case I do need it. But I think that I've got one of these underneath the staging yard. I think it will cover both the staging yard and Maroon Creek. I need to do a little research. That was loud. I need to do a little research and see, you know, kind of how far does this 15 volts carry in the LCC CAN bus. And if it easily carries, you know, 30 feet to 40 feet, then I won't need it. So I may not put that in there. And of course, this goes underneath module 2. This one, the smaller one, goes to the east end of Maroon Creek. That's what the MC Tower means, the east end of Maroon Creek. I don't know if you can see that. But I don't know exactly where this is going to go yet. I have an idea where I want it to go. But really all I have left to do once I get this, you know, set, once I get the plywood set, this I know exactly where it's going to go, but that needs to go down on this end somewhere, and I would really like it to be in front of this section because this continues on to Hellgate, and so it would be, in my opinion, better to have that control panel right here, but none of that bench work exists yet, so I'm going to have to think about that. And the reason it matters now is because I've still got to create a ribbon cable that will come from that tortoise to the stall motor driver there that will be way down here. So I can't create any of the ribbon cables needed to connect to either of the two control panels until everything is laid in its place. Now you might be thinking, Otter, you got all of that stuff done on Maroon Creek. Why don't you just stick it back up on the bench work and run some trains for us? Well, there's still things that I need to do in here before I can throw it back up on there. Really, there's three major things I need to do. I need to get some lighting put in for the staging yard, and I've got these, which it's a 16-foot run of cool white light. It should only cost me $2.17 for the whole year to run those. So, we're looking at, less than $5 to run all of the lighting underneath here. I've got to do that. And I've got an idea how I'm going to do it. And then in addition to that, I also need to run the power that's going to need to be down here at this end, as well as the power, pardon the spin, that is going to connect to the control board back in here. Because if you'll remember, this switch right here is going to turn on all of Maroon Creek. So I've got to do that. And then the last thing that I need to kind of consider is the bus line that is going to go for the high line. I'm thinking it might be prudent for me to maybe go ahead and put it in as well. I'm just not entirely sure. I've got 6 inches of open grid, so to speak, from here back that I can access that bus line. But this right here, I don't think I want it to be on top of the plywood. It wouldn't bother me so much if it's on top of the plywood down here. These are just things that I've got to consider before I put the plywood on and make sure I'm making good decisions about future issues that might arise. Can I get to it, or do I need to get to it? So for sure, I'm going to get started on this lighting right now. The lights for staging are in, and they're working pretty good. I think they're gonna be fine. Now, right now, I don't have the wiring nest. It's not where everything needs to be, obviously. I can't live with that kind of mess there. But there's a few other things going on underneath here that I wanna take care of first. One of the biggest issues, let me take this camera down, see if I can get it to show. One of the biggest issues is my multi-plug adapter back there is not good for these type of wall boards. So I'm gonna need to wire another multi-plug adapter in here somewhere that's associated with this switch, so that I can turn those on and off with the layout at the same time. But that's gonna be real simple. It's just a matter of cleaning it up and doing some final things there. Now, let me show you kind of how this worked. So you can see all I did was come in and glue a block of wood on top of some 1/8" masonite. And it's gonna work, but I would not do it this way again. I think if I were to do it again, I probably would go with 1/8" plywood. And I do have some of that stuff. So if I do this again anywhere else, like for the valance, don't use this stuff. That would be my suggestion. And what happens is your glue joint, because I just glued them, I didn't screw through the bottom, I didn't want to mess with that, I just clamped and glued. And what I found is that the glue penetrates down so far, but this stuff is, I don't know, the glue will solidify and grab hold of it, but then it's kind of like the cardboard will pull off and your glue is fine, but this stuff it's just not a good gluing surface for this application. So I won't be using the masonite again. Hopefully this will hold. As long as there's not any pressure on top of it, it'll be fine. I'm just gonna have to be real careful when I put the plywood on top that I don't accidentally bump into any of this stuff in the process. Like I mentioned in a video or two back, I do have the power routed through this switch. I'm just coming from that plug there to the switch and then back to this receptacle there. So I'll have a multi-plug adapter that you can't see there following that cord. And then I will probably put another one right there along that L girder there. And then I decided that going on top of the bench work here, which is kind of what I originally thought I might do, I decided against that. And I actually ran all of this, the power line, down on the underneath side of the layout down to this end. And I haven't cut it or put in a receptacle at this end yet because I don't know exactly how all this is going to work, and I don't really need it at the moment anyway because I've got the receptacle end still on the extension cord. I can make use of it until such time I'm ready to put in the hardwired receptacle. So that's pretty much taken care of. All I lack now is the LCC bus, and I'll show you what I've got going on with that. Looking at the bottom side of staging, you can see right here, I've already got an LCC node here. And the CAN bus goes all the way down to that end and then actually goes from the other end of staging all the way to Silver Gulch and Frying Pan. And that's one of the kind of the nice things about this is all I have to do is remove this terminal plug. And then for the nodes, they're going to be on the underneath side of module 4. All I've got to do is plug in right here and then make my connection up here to where my panel's going to be. And you can't really see it, but I've got a mark marked on the wall where I'm pretty sure that other node is going to be. So I can go ahead and cut and make this connection for the board right there, and then I will do the same thing on the other end where I'll just have to remove one of the CAN bus plugs, insert another one, and then it should work pretty good right off the bat. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I don't know that I'll film any of that. I don't know, I might film making the plug, I don't know, we'll see. All right, it's kind of hard to see, but I do have all of the LCC bus in now. And so this is the power point right here. And the bus is coming from here. This is new wiring to this device, which is what allows me to talk to my computer. And then this USB cord is going to my computer. And then this particular line is now going to module 2. Right up in there. The only thing I have left to connect now is the ribbon cables coming from the stall motor driver in here to module 2. And then I think module 3 is already connected. I just need to bring it underneath. It's there, I just need to connect it. And then it's gonna just be a matter of going in here and cleaning all of this mess up. I like to have all the wires there so I know what I'm dealing with kind of all at the same time. The wiring control pit is, I guess, as complete as it's gonna be, and it went fairly well, I guess, other than throwing my back out. It was relatively painless. You can see I added another multi-plug adapter here, and those 2 transformers there are for the lights. This one is for the booster, and then that one is for the Wi-Fi here. And of course this plug is just an extension of that plug with a switch at the layout. And I think I've already discussed this a little bit, but got the CAN bus coming from Silver Gulch into here to depending on how you look at it. And then that CAN bus is what goes underneath staging. And then the only other thing I did a little bit differently is I moved the Raspberry Pi to here, and then I've added this router, which I'm hoping will eventually kind of control the whole room so that I can extend Wi-Fi as necessary to run trains on it instead of the home Wi-Fi. At least that's the thought. So everything's looking pretty good. Everything's checking out. I don't have any major electronic problems. All the blue smoke is still where it's supposed to be at the moment. So I think the next thing I need to do is go back and take a look at the spline coming from Frying Pan up here to Maroon Creek so that I can start laying some track on it. Well, kids, I have connected the track from module 1 to frying pan, and as you just witnessed, after putting in 1 feeder drop, no short circuits, everything works. Now, I have not run a train all the way through. I'm, just kind of gonna hold off on doing that. And so where I'm at right now is literally, if I want to get this video out before Thursday, I'm gonna have to stop what I'm doing right now and call it quits. I've still got things to do. I got 1 more feeder drop I want to put in there, and then I also need to come in with something, that's kind of protective, like I've got over here with the pink foam. And so I need to do that. But other than that, there's really nothing other than maybe a shot of whiskey to take to get a train to go all the way from frying pan up to Maroon Creek. So there you have it. Track is connected, no shorts. Trains are working just exactly where they want to. And all while I'm listening to Heath talk about JMRI operations in only the way Heath can, which I dearly enjoy. So I'm gonna call this video good. I've taken a lot of video over the last probably month, and I'm gonna try and get it all out over the next couple weeks. I'm not gonna promise that it's all gonna be cohesive in a timeline, but there's lots of things to show between now and then, because trains are running even on modules 3 and 4. So stay tuned, more to show. Thanks for watching Otter Creek and Rio Grande.